Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You will be sharing the sloka. You want me to share the sloka, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, I think you can share, Prabhuji. There is some restriction in my this one laptop, so you
Okay,
can
Prabhuji.
share. Yeah,
I'll share, Prabhu, no problem.
Prabhu, is my video and audio visible and audible or not yet?
Video is okay, Prabhu. Audio, I think it is volume is little low, I think.
Oh, is it, Prabhu? Okay, let me.
Little low.
Yeah. Now, how is it now, Prabhu?
I think it's still the same. Other devotees can confirm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, the volume is audible low or it's okay?
It's okay, Prabhu.
It's okay, Mataji.
We'll see.
Okay. Mataji, please confirm, Prabhuji. Is my video and audio is okay, or I need to make some changes?
Audio is okay, Prabhu.
Okay. How about video, Mataji?
Video also is okay, Prabhu.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
If you are ready, we can start, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have the association of His Grace Sankarshan Nitai Prabhu, who is going to share the slokas from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter number 28, sloka number 25. Thank you, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhu. I'll share the sloka in a minute, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, please. Yeah. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, all the devotees, for joining today's session. I would like to welcome all the devotees. So let us start the session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, we are reading from 4th canto, 28th chapter, entitled The Puranjana Becomes Woman in the Next Life, verse number 25. Vikrishyamana prasabham yavanena valiyasa navindattamasa vishta sakhayam suhridam puraham Vikrishyamana prasabham yavanena valiyasa navindattamasa vishta sakhayam suhridam puraha Vikrishyamana prasabham yavanena valiyasa Navindattamasa vishta sakhayam suhrudam puraha. Vikrishyamana, being dragged, prasabham, forcibly, yavanena, by the yavana, baliyasa, who was very powerful, na avindat, could not remember, tamasa, by darkness, ignorance, by darkness of ignorance, avishtaha, being covered, sakhayam, his friend, suhrudam, always a well-wisher, puraha, from the very beginning. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. When King Puranjana was being dragged with great force by the powerful Yavana, out of his gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the Super Soul. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 29th shloka, Lord Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam gnatva mam shantiruchyati. A person can be in full Krishna conscious and become happy and satisfied if he knows but three things, namely, that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the enjoyer of all benefits, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that he is the supreme friend of all living entities. If one does not know this and functions instead under the bodily conception, he is always harassed by the tribulations offered by material nature. In actuality, the Supreme Lord is sitting by the side of everyone. Ishvara Sarva Bhutana Hridese Arjuna Tishtati. Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter 61st shloka. The living entity and the super soul are sitting side by side in the same tree. But despite being harassed by the loss of material nature, the foolish living entity does not turn towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead for protection. However, he thinks that he is able to protect himself from the stringent laws of material nature. This, however, is not possible. The living entity must turn toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrender unto him. Only then will he be saved from the onslaught of the powerful Yavana or Yamaraja. The word Sakhayam, friend, is very significant in this verse because God is eternally present beside the living entity. The Supreme Lord is also described as Suhridam, ever well-wisher. The Supreme Lord is always a well-wisher, just like a father or mother. Despite all the offenses of a son, the father and mother are always the son's well-wisher. Similarly, despite all our offenses and defiances of the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord will give us immediate relief from all the hardships offered by material nature if we simply surrender unto Him. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam evaye prapadyante mayametam tarantite. Unfortunately, due to our bad association and great attachment for sense gratification, we do not remember our best friend, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Timirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं लङ्घयते Hare Krishna. I would like to welcome all the devotees once again for today's morning Bhagavatam class. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I would like to seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here so that I can speak in accordance to Parampara and for my own purification. So this is the shloka comes in the fourth canto of 28th chapter. The chapter name is The Puranjana Becomes a Woman in the Next Life. So let me just, yeah. So this is about in the fourth canto, there are a lot of topics were discussed till now. There were the topics about Sati and Daksha Prajapati, Lord Shiva in the first few chapters, and then there is a Dhruva Charitra was discussed, and then there is a Prithu Maharaj Charitra and Anga Vena that section comes, and then later comes this Prachina Barhi Puranjana's story. So Narada Muni was so expert. He was such a expert, devotee and such a great spiritual master that he knows what way can be delivered. The message can be delivered. Sometimes the great devotees they choose different ways to explain the same message with different examples, stories like that. So sometimes whenever there is a direct message will work, direct message they'll give. Sometimes when there is a kind of stories and allegorical story kind of thing will work, so they will choose that way. Just like Narada Muni was telling to Dhruva the direct instructions about the Supreme Lord, how to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. That's the direct instructions. When it comes to Vyasadeva, he was telling about his own reference, historical reference, how he was in the previous life as a son of a maid servant, and then how he perfected his life, just to give the inspiration. Now here you can see here, the Prachina Barhi is one of the greatest kings, one of the great kings in the lineage of the Prithu Maharaj, same kingdom. So he was doing everything well, pious in terms of pious activities, but not kind of completely surrendering into the Bhakti Yoga process. So now Narada Muni was telling the allegorical story of a Puranjana, a person named Puranjana. So basically, Puranjana means the one who resides in the Pura, means the body. So like all of us. So the story of Puranjana is basically story of everyone who has taken who's basically a conditioned soul. So this body is compared to the city of nine gates. In the Puranjana story, it is described as a city of nine gates. Navadware Pure Gehi Pure Dehi. So the soul is actually stuck in the body made up of material elements. Work out about 23, 24 material elements are there. The soul got stuck because of his independent desire to lord it over the material nature. So I was hearing the lecture by His Holiness Loknath Goswami Maharaj on this verse. So Maharaj was telling the body is basically, there were many references, uh, basically many analogies for the body in the scripture. Just like uh, in the Bhagavad Gita, we know that body is like a machine. Krishna was telling yantra rudhani maya. So on this, sitting on this vehicle, the jiva goes all around the universe. Brahmayan sarva bhutani, in all the species of life, he changes different vehicles. So yantra is also one analogy of the body. And there is another analogy is like a chariot. So we have heard the chariot example, wherein the whole body is like a chariot, and the horses are like the five senses. The rope is like the mind, and the driver is like the intelligence, and the person who is sitting in the chariot, the passenger is basically the super soul, so atma, the soul of the body. So that is one example. There is another example like tree. In the Katha Upanishad, we all know that in a tree there are two birds are sitting. One is the soul, another one is the super soul. The super soul does not enjoy the fruits. He just is like a witness of the soul's action. The soul sometimes enjoys the good fruits, sometimes enjoys the bad, sometimes suffers the bad fruits. But the super soul is just a witness. That is why super soul is called Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara. These are the different attributes of the super soul. Upadrashta means the one who sees from the top. Upadrashta means he sees beyond, above, basically. So just like Krishna is telling, Mayadhyakshena Prakriti, Suyate Sa Characharam. All the Chara and Achara, everything is overseen by me under the control of the material, but material nature is being overseen by me. Mayadhyakshena Prakriti. The Prakriti is working in my direction. So that is what. So Upadrashta means that. Upadrashta Anumanta. Anumanta means the one who gives the sanctions. So it is said that without the Lord's permission, nothing in not even the eyelids that we can move. So that is the dependent condition. Every jiva is there. So Anumanta, whatever the jiva desires, Lord fulfills it. That is why he is called Anumanta. Upadrashta Anumanta Bharta. He is the real maintainer. So there are so many Bhartas in this world, but they are all like fallible Bhartas. But the real Bharta is actually the Supreme Lord who maintains and protects everyone. So Upadrashta Anumanta Bharta Bhokta. Bhokta means he is the real enjoyer. So the in this purport also Prabhupada was telling the peace formula, how somebody can become peaceful in this world. There are a lot of people who are actually trying to become peaceful. But they don't know the clue how to become peaceful. But Lord is here telling uh, the shloka how to become peaceful. So that is bhokta. Bhokta means when we understand that Supreme Lord is the only enjoyer. He is the Purusha and there is Prakriti. In the Prakriti, there are two levels. One is Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. So Apara Prakriti is basically the inferior material energy, all the material elements which are dead, basically. No, Abhumira, Puvanalo, all these material elements combined together, they are Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti is the Jivas. Apareyam Itastvanyam. So it is there in the Bhagavad Gita. So the Jivas are considered to be superior Prakriti because they can actually manipulate the material elements, Apara Prakriti. But if they do it for their own enjoyment, they will be suffering. They will be entangled. But if they do it, they manipulate for the Lord's pleasure. It is like they're in the internal energy. They'll become Mahatmas. Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. Daivi Prakriti. So the tree is one such example where the Lord and the Jiva are sitting together. Similarly, our heart is also there are two people. One is soul, another one is the super soul. And there is another analogy of the body is the cloth. In the Bhagavad Gita itself, Lord Krishna was telling that Vasamsi jirnani yadha vihaya navani grihnati naroparani tadha sharirani vihaya mane anyani samyati navani dehi. Means when the shirt becomes old, we give up and takes a new shirt. So similarly, when the body becomes old and not usable, then the jiva goes to the next body. It's very, very logical. Prabhupada was one such acharya who is in the line of the Narada Muni Parampara. He is such an expert person. So he also uses different techniques to convince the different people. So he gives this famous example: Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. So as you give up the body, you get a next body like that. So it's very simple. So but all these analogies, if you see, they're all dead. So basically, the body is dead only. Body is dead, but what gives the life to the body is the soul. So the real identity is the soul, and the body is just a machine given to the soul, so that he can perform the bhakti, he can perform the this one. So now coming to this, Shloka Maharaj was telling that this is the pitiable state of all the conditioned souls because uh, they were in terms of so-called enjoyment in the material life, they were spending their whole time. But when the reality comes, when the time comes for the death, that time they have to undergo a lot of pain. It's very, very difficult to undergo because a lot of attachment one develops all through these actions and reactions. A lot of attachment one develops, and then when the finally the death comes and Yavana here that's mentioned, Yavana is an Yamaraj, basically the servants of Yamaraj. When they come, they try to forcibly take away the soul from the body. It's such a painful moment. It is I was also actually thinking it's such a painful moment. It's I mean, in the Garuda Purana also it is told that about 40,000 scorpions bite at the same time. The same kind of pain one gets when living. Sometimes people may think, oh, aram se he left the body. He was he was in a he was in the sleep, and morning he's not there. So aram se he left, but nobody goes aram se out of this material world. Because just if I ask to give one finger, not just the body, just finger, people will be so trembling. So at the time of death we have to give up the entire body, entire thing, entire wealth, entire property, and all the things. So that's very, very painful. At least theoretically one should be understanding this fact that it's very reality. So most of the things most of the people do is they just try to avoid the reality. Just like the ostrich bird, if you know, the ostrich bird, when the tiger hunts for the ostrich, ostrich bird just digs the mud and then put the head in the mud and thinks that there is no harm, there is all is well, like that it thinks. But that is not the reality. So similarly, people in this world, they want to escape into something illusion, something illusionary, just to avoid this reality of the life. So that is why what happens, vimukhasya sudukhitasya. So Maharaj was telling that as soon as the jiva turns away from Krishna, then sudukhitasya, not just dukhitasya, sudukhitasya. There are it's a variety of the material sufferings are awaiting for that soul. So now, what is the solution for this? The solution is just turn towards Krishna, who is there in the heart of everyone. So here, Puranjana, although he was there with his friend always, that is a super soul, always, but he does not care about that friend. All through the life, he was only engaged in taking care of the wife, children, family members, kingdom, and all these things. But he just forgets the real friend who will help him at the time of need. So that is why he could not remember. In the purport, also Prabhupada was telling why he is not able to remember, because he is not able, because of the bad association and too much of attachment for sense gratification. So these are the two things one may not be able to remember, because one is in a bad association, kusanga, one is in the too much of attachment, bhogaishwarya prasaktana, taya apahurta chetasam. So so that is why one has to be very choosy in his association. One has to be very careful about what or whom he is associating with. So yeah, so Maharaj was telling that uh, here Prabhupada was telling that there are bhoktara yajna tapasa sarva loka maheshwara. If these three things one understands, then one automatically becomes peaceful and happy. What is the three things? The three things is Krishna is the real enjoyer. So then now the question is like, I know that, but how do I know I really know that? I mean, see, just reading is one thing, but the understanding and implementing is something else. So just like there is one guru, he asked all the disciples of his disciples, he has given one banana to all the disciples and told that you go to such a place where nobody is seeing, and then you have to eat that banana and come with a empty hand. That's what the task he has given to the disciples. So all the disciples went to different corners and different places where there is no one is trying, kind of watching. So everybody is completed their banana and came back except one person. The one person came with the banana. So so Guru was asking, why you did you could you not find the place where nobody is watching? He said, no, I don't find any place. Why? Because wherever I go, the super soul is with me. He's always watching me. Then how can I find a place where there is nobody is watching? So this is the meaning of Vijnana. There is Gnana and there is Vijnana. Gnana means one who knows it, one who knows the knowledge. Vijnana means one who knows by experience. So the really realized knowledge is called Vijnana. So this disciple, he understood that super soul is there everywhere. He is watching us. So that is why that is Vijnana. So similarly here, these three things are there. I keep reading, I keep hearing, but how do I know? I actually know this thing. The proof is actually when somebody does everything for the satisfaction of the Lord, then it becomes like he's acting for the pleasure. He's thinking that is the Krishna is the real enjoy. Uh, just like devotees, like whatever they purchase new things, they first offer it to Krishna, and then they take the permission, and that's so. So it's basically the consciousness is Krishna is the real enjoyer. We are here for his pleasure. But many people, outside, they don't understand this. Why? Because they think that Krishna and we are different in the sense we both are not connected, but actually the both are very very connected. Just like the Bhagavatam gives an example that just like you water a root of a tree, the leaves and branches, everything will automatically be taken care. So similarly, the jivas like all of us, there is no need to do separate endeavor for our satisfaction. If we satisfy Krishna, then automatically we will be satisfied. Yasmin tushtam jagat tushtam. It is said that when Lord is satisfied, everything is automatically satisfied. So Prabhupada gives a very wonderful example. Just like, the hand is there. If a hand thinks that I can enjoy the gulab jamun on myself, so if a hand takes the gulab jamun or basically, gulab jamun and then crushes it, the hand will not get anything. Right? The only thing the hand will be enjoyed is the hand will put the gulab jamun in the mouth, and when it goes to the stomach, then the energy will be goes to the hand and all the parts of the body. So similarly, all of us are also like a parts and parcels. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So we are all part and parcels of the Lord. So when a part tries to serve the whole, then the part will be satisfied. So that is why when somebody knows that Lord is the real enjoyer, my enjoyment is to give only the enjoyment to Krishna. That is only my enjoyment. That is the real way to become peaceful. No, otherwise it is simply trying to become artificial. Just like if I take a cricket bat and try to eat some food with the cricket bat, that is not good. That's artificial. I take a spoon and then I eat it. That's a natural. But a artificial or even natural is I take a hand and then eat it. So similar, many people they want to become artificial. They want to unnecessarily try to lord it over. Then the lot of anxieties comes because why? Because in this world all the things will not go as per our will. We try to wish something, but out of that there are so many things will not go our way. That is why the second point comes that we are not the controllers. The Lord is the supreme controller. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Right? So and Maharaj was telling one nice point here that we have to hear the Paramatma. So the Lord is there in the heart. He's trying to help us. He's always actually trying to ready to help us. So we have to hear the Paramatma. How do we hear from the Paramatma? Right now there are so many voices in my heart that I cannot hear the Paramatma. Paramatma voice is there, but there are so many other loud voices of my own desires that I cannot hear Paramatma. That is why Lord sends out his representatives outside in the form of spiritual masters and the Vaishnavas. Lord sends out his representatives so that one has to hear from them. That is the way of he's telling a nice reference. It is told in this shloka that Suhrudam Sarva Bhutana means ever well wisher. Lord is the ever well wisher and the very best friend of all the jivas. And also in the Bhagavatam, also there is one shloka where it tells about the qualities of a devotee. That is Titikshava, Karunikam, Maitram, and then it is a Suhrudam Sarvadehinam. The same word is being used even for the devotees also in the Bhagavatam. So there are two friends, not just one friend. one friend is the Lord as a Paramatma, second friend is the devotees, who are actually representing the message of the Lord. That is why it's called folk. Folk means the friends of Lord Krishna. So we need to hear from the either from the Lord or from the devotees, and the scriptures. Basically, by reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, basically it is like hearing from the Lord only. Correct? That is the Lord Sri Bhagavan Vacha. It is told in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavan Vacha means the Lord Himself is speaking. It is like a great message for all of us that we need to read and hear Bhagavatam, regularly. So that is the important thing. And also, Maharaj was telling what Lord was telling always. He was telling one thing, that Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Pole. He was telling about that Vaishnava bhajan, that uh, Lord Chaitanya comes, he is so merciful, and then he is asking all the jivas to wake up from the sleep, wake up from the slumber of sleeping peacefully in the lap of Maya. So, Prabhu, if we have time, can we go? Can we go through that Vaishnava song, Prabhu? Can you share that so that we'll just go through that meaning once, and then we will continue here.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. I will open
Yes,
that.
yes, Prabhu. Yeah. Jeev jago, jeev jago, Gaura Chandra Bole. Prabhu, are you sharing, Prabhuji? Or? Yeah. So we will. I have in my laptop. So
I'm sharing, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Jeev jago, jeev jago, Gaura Chandra bole, kotha nidra jao maya, Ishachi rakole. So here, Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up sleeping souls, wake up sleeping souls. How long will you be sleeping in the lap of the witch called Maya? So basically, people are running here and there, they're doing a lot of work. Then why Lord Gauranga is telling they're sleeping? Because they're sleeping spiritually. Materially, they're doing so many activities, but the real activity, spiritual activity, they're very lazy. So that is why Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up sleeping souls, wake up. भजिबो बोलिया ऐसे संसारा भितारे भूलिया रोहिले तुम्हें avidyar bhare. You have forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the world of birth and death. So, bhajibo boliya esha samsare vitare. So, when you are in the womb of the mother, you are intensely praying that, oh my Lord, please, free me up, free me from this suffering. So you got, yes, you're freed now, but you're completely forgotten whatever you have promised earlier, and then now you are completely lost in the world of material activities. Bhajibo boliya, you told. Yes, samsara bhitare bhuliya. You forgot that. Why? Because you are avidyara bhare. You are full of all the avidya. No, avidya means whatever the knowledge related to material nature, whatever material vidya, basically avidya. Tomare loite ami hoinu avtara ami bina bandhu ara ke ache tumhara. I have descended just to save you. Other than myself, you have no friend in this world. This is something very important. There are so many friends in this world that we keep making, but nobody is permanent, basically. So, the real friend is someone who will help us in the great time of need. That is basically the greatest time of need is the time of death. So that time, if somebody can help us remember Krishna, he is the best friend. But it is not happen in the overnight. So if somebody thinks that they can simply remember at the time of death, it's not going to happen. It has to happen throughout the life. Why? It is said that a student he gives the complete year is the preparation, and the 2 hour or 3 hour exam is the examination. So why he studies for the 3 hour exam? So similarly, the entire life is basically a preparation, and the last moment at the time of death, whatever he thinks, that is the exam. What he thinks, what he is going to think. The very easy way to understand is whatever he has been thinking throughout the life, the same thing he is going to think at the time of death also. That's very evident. Similarly, here we can see Puranjana. What he thought at the time of death, he was thinking about his wife, right? Why? Because he was so attached to his wife. So he was thinking about his wife. That is why in the next life he becomes a woman. Whatever we think. What is the shloka? Uh, Antyakale chamameva smaran. No. Uh, what is the shloka, Prabhu?
Yam
Whatever
yam
we
va-
think.
Prabhu,
Yam yam vapi smaran
yam
bhavam.
yam vapi swaram
Correct,
nityam.
correct. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tumevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. So whatever we think, the same thing we are going to become. So here Puranjana is become like it. So here Lord Gauranga is telling he is the best friend, and there is no friend in this world. Why? Because everybody in this world is trying to somehow uh, trying to get out of something, but there is someone who is actually completely selflessly he is giving. That is the Lord Gauranga. The fourth sloka tells Enichi Aushadhi Maya Nashivarulagi Harinama Mahamantra Lavotu Mimagi. I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you are suffering. Take this Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the medicine for this age. So Kali Yuga, there has been never been a bigger medicine or a better medicine than this. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Lord Gauranga has come up with such a great medicine. So it is not like if I go to a doctor, if I get a disease, I go to a best doctor in the world and I take the appointment and get the medicine. But if I don't use the medicine, it's of no use, right? So similarly, all of us have so fortunately has come under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada. So the best medicine has also been given. The only thing is, only thing is expected out of everyone is that we take it very enthusiastically and very sincerely. That's what is expected. So here, Lord Gauranga is also expecting the same thing. So I have come up with the best medicine. Only thing is you just have to take it. And Bhakti Vinoda Prabhu Charane Pariya Sei Hari Nama Mantra Loilo Magiya. Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, I fall at the Lord's feet having taken this Maha Mantra. So Maharaj was glorifying the second part. The Lord as a friend that we all know, but Maharaj was glorifying how the devotees are the best friends, because he was telling that he was telling about Bhakti Vinod Thakur. The same message, whatever Lord gives, the same message. The Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Sankarshan Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, all the acharyas in the parampara were our greatest friends. Why? Because they all want us back to the spiritual world. That is why they are given this uh, beautiful shlokas and the scriptures. So, if you, yeah, Prabhu, can you switch to the purport again, Prabhuji? Purport, yeah. So, in the purport, Prabhupada was telling that these are the three formula. The 3-point formula is if we think that Lord is the supreme enjoyer, Lord is the supreme controller, and He is also our ever best well wisher. So these three are very important. If somebody knows this, then what happens is that is a perfect ways to achieve peace. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells there is no question of happiness without peace. The Bhagavad Gita, it is told. So ashantasya kutas sukham. So there is a way to achieve peace, and there is a way to achieve satisfaction and the happiness. That is in the Bhagavatam. It is told in the first canto. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yadho bhaktir adhokshade ahaituki apratihata yatma suprasida. Savai pumsam paro dharma. Of all the dharmas, what is the highest dharma is if somebody can do the ahaituki apratihata bhakti to the Lord, that will satisfy the soul completely. No, ya atma suprasida. So these are the formula for the peace and satisfaction and happiness the Lord is keep on giving. So after giving so much of advice on this, so much of instructions, and there are so many wonderful examples also earlier, still why the jiva does not take it? Jiva does not take because he doesn't want to take it. So that is the only reason. Because eyadhamam prapadyante tam sudaya bhajamyam. Whatever the jiva desires, Lord fulfills it accordingly. So similarly, the Lord, although He is giving everything, still the jiva doesn't want. That is why Lord gives the forgetfulness also. What is it? Matta smritir jnana mapohanamcha. The Lord only gives the remembrance how to come back to home. The Lord only gives the forgetfulness how to stay in this material world. Now that is uh, very contradictory, right? If Lord wants us to come back to home, then why Lord gives the forgiveness of forgetfulness? Because the jiva literally adamantly wants that forgetfulness. I just don't want to come back. I just don't want to enjoy with you. I just don't want to see you. That is why Lord gives that forgetfulness. But still, the Lord is so amazing that although despite unlimited number of rejections by the jiva, still he wishes that he comes back. He does not leave the jiva. He always be there in the jiva's heart. So this is one of the qualities of the Lord being a friend. Suhridam. So in this world, we can see the friends. If somebody is in a good friend, somebody is a very best friend, they will stay in the good times and harsh times. But even in the harsh times, if the friend is there but we are not grateful to them, they will just leave us. The gratitude, they expect that gratitude from us, but here we are not at all grateful. Rather, we are chastising, or we are claiming that there is no God, there is nothing, no God at all. But still Lord is not leaving that person. He's still there in the heart, always trying to give the opportunities, trying to send the devotees, trying to do so many things only to help that person. So good, how better a friend can be? How there is no friend better than God. That is the meaning. So here Prabhupada is telling that side by side in the same tree, this however is must turn toward. So there are so many sufferings happens, but Jiva doesn't turn. But the only thing is he has to turn. That is why it's very important to be in a good association who keeps on reminding the same fact. So in the second paragraph, Prabhupada is telling that the father, just like a mother and father, although the son sometimes being mischievous, they don't give up the hand of the son. They always are like the well-wishers. So similarly, Lord is also the supreme father. He's called Mata Pita. Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dravanam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mamadeva Deva. My dear Lord, you are my mother, you are my father, you are my friend, you are my well-wisher, you are my everything. Now that is really true. Actually speaking, that's the real true. Whatever we have here, the mother and father and everyone, they're all like for this one lifetime only. Next life, another set of people. Next life, another set of people. So the real attachment that we need to develop is to the Lord, who is permanently coming with us. That is why it is called, there are two duties of a sadhaka. One is the conditional duty, that is I am in this condition, like I'm a son, so I have to take care of the duties as a son to my parents. I have to take care of my occupation duties, I have to take care of my family, I have to take care of the people in the society. So this is my conditional life. What is a constitutional duty? Constitutional duty is I am the servant of Supreme Lord, so he is my eternal friend. So I have to develop that connection with Krishna. And how to develop that connection with Krishna? That is simple, by chanting his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Why? Because the Lord is making himself available in the holy names. Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. So when the Lord, who is the uh, Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka, is available, easily available, that is what is called Sudurlabham Atma Bhakti. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakti. Among all the Vedas, if you try to research also, it's very difficult to find out the Lord. But he is very easily available for the Shuddha Bhaktas. Durlabha, Sudurlabha Matma Bhakta. So one has to know the technique of how to connect with the Lord. And the easiest way is to chant the holy names of Krishna. So in this Kali Yuga, that is the best way to recognize the Lord's presence in the heart. Why? Because it is told that Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, they all will come one by one by one. If somebody is getting the taste in the Nama, eventually they will be shown the form of the Lord, Sachidananda Vigraha of the Lord. And then eventually he will understand the Guna, he will understand the Leela. All these things will happen one by one. All starts with Nama. So Sevon Mukhe hi jihvado smar swayameva spratyada. So what is the shloka? The Lord is very difficult to understand with all these indriyas because they are mundane. But the sevon mukhe hi jihvado. But if we can do the seva by the tongue, what is the seva that we can do by the tongue? By the tongue, that is by chanting the holy names, or by glorifying the Lord and the devotees, or by eating prasadam. So if we do these things, then slowly the purification happen and one can understand the Lord is there in everybody's heart. And it is such a it gives a lot of security basically, because there is one person who doesn't leave me, even the entire world turns upside down. That is the Lord. So it gives such a great sense of security. There's such a great sense of belonging and the feeling that we think that the Lord is there always with me. Then it's such a great fearless phenomenon. So we become completely fearless. So we do not remember the best friend. So this is so only the last two important things is due to our bad association and the excessive attachment to the sense gratification. So I was just thinking, if we have time for 10 minutes, Prabhuji, we have time, Prabhu, another 5-10 minutes. So
Yes, Prabhuji, you can go.
yeah. So so it is very important that we be in a very good association, and it also important that we detach from sense gratification. But the detachment from sense gratification is not very easy. It is so difficult because the senses are so turbulent, so voracious. They always want different things. So one way to develop detachment is basically to study the scriptures very. The more and more one contemplates on the reality, the more and more one contemplates on the reality, then it will become easier to come out of that track of sense gratification. So I found we have a treatise called Bhaja Govindam by Shankaracharya. We all know that. So in that shlokas, some of the shlokas are like very like they are all very nice. Some of the shlokas, if we see, it gives a very immediate detachment. Basically, I can say. So that is like few shlokas. I will try to quote here. I have got here. So it is told that. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Rakshati Dukrin Karane. Means when Shankaracharya was passing in the Varanasi, he was seeing one old person who was who was teaching the grammar to some students, grammatical errors and mistakes. So Shankaracharya took pity on him and he is telling that this grammar and all these things is not going to help at the time of death. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi rakshati dukrin karana. All this proficiencies, knowledge, skills, nothing is going to help at the time of death. Only what is going to help is the holy name of Govinda. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. So it is told that so people in this world sometimes they get a artificial sense of security because of a loving family, because of friends and social circle and everything. Here Shankaracharya was telling that yavad vitto parjana shaktaha tavan nija parivaro raktaha pascha jivati jarjara dehe Vata kopi na prichati ge. So means here he's telling that yavat bitto means money. As long as one is, I will try to read the exact translation. Okay, so long as a man is fit and able to support his family, see the affection all those around him show. But no one at home cares to even have a word with him when his body totters due to old age. So as long as the ability is there, they think that the man is able to support, then all the affection comes. Oh, you're so great, you're so very nice, and all these things. But as soon as the ability goes off, then they don't even care to have a word with that person. So this is the reality of life. And the other shloka is telling that when one is alive, his family members inquire kindly about his welfare. But when he's dead, nobody, not even the dearmost friend, dearmost attached to the body is wife. The wife also fears, when the person leaves the body. So this is the harsh reality. So he's telling that childhood is lost by attachment to playfulness, youth is lost by attachment to woman, old age passes by thinking over many past things, but there is hardly anyone who wants to be lost in Parabrahma. So all these, who is your wife? Who is your son? Strange is this samsara. Of whom are you? From where have you come? Brother, ponder over these truths here. So it's very, detaching. And then here comes one nice shloka. It is told that I will read out that shloka also. That shloka tells, it's ninth shloka. Yeah. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan mukti. Means satsangatve means when somebody is in a very good association of devotees, what happens is nissangatvam. One becomes uh, nissangatvam means detached basically. So yeah, from satsanga comes non-attachment. Why non-attachment? Because the devotees tells the reality of life. When you know the reality of life, automatically you don't be very attached like that. From non-attachment comes freedom from delusion. Freedom from delusion means you know things what it is. In the market there will be so many products. They will tell that please take this. It will be happy for you like that. But you know what it is. That is from the knowledge comes the freedom from delusion, and then freedom from delusion, which leads to settledness. That is nishta. Now, satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam. Nirmoha means the moha will be gone. And from that, what happens is nishta. Nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Nischalatatvam means nishta. One is firmly fixed that the ultimate goal of life is actually to serve the Lord. That is the real goal of life. He is actually fixed in that goal. That's what happens when somebody is out of that illusion. When somebody is out of the illusion, then he thinks that the Lord, by doing a service to the Lord, everything will be taken care. That is what. And what happens is, from that nischala tattva comes jivan mukta. Jivan mukta means one finally is liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Again, in one of the shlokas, Shankaracharya tells that punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jatareshayana iha samsare bahudustare krupaya pare pahi murare. Punarapi jananam, again and again one takes birth, either in the birth in the human body or in the dog's body, cat's body, pig's body. Again and again he's been taking birth. Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jatare shayana. Jatara means jataragni. So again and again he's been put into the womb of the mother, and he is there in the jataragni again and again. Iha samsare bahudustare. This world is full of complexities. There are so many complicated things in this world. So it is very, very difficult to come out of the cycle of birth and death, and go back to the spiritual world. It's very, very difficult. So that is why what is required? Kripaya pare pahi murari. That is why take shelter of Murari, that is Krishna, who will take away all these things like a puddle of water. Bhagavatam tells the whole ocean becomes like a small water in the puddle of the calf's hoof print when somebody takes shelter of Krishna. So, and then it is told that Ma Kuru Dhana Jana Yavana Garvam Harati Nimesha Kala Sarvam. So, Ma Kuru Dhana Jana. Dhana means money. Yavana means youth. Jana means followers. So don't be proud of all these things, that you have a lot of money, lot of followers, lot of youth, everything, lot of energy is there. Why? Because they all will be taken in one moment. Ma kuru dhana jana yavana garvam harati nimesha. 1 minute. They all will be taken in 1 minute. Right? So we all seen that somebody is going in a in a vehicle. Suddenly there is an accident and completely gone. He's gone out of this world. So don't be so proud of all these things. Just worship Govinda. Free yourself from the illusion of this world of Maya and in the time. So it is said that every rising and setting of a sun, our ayush is reducing. We are one day closer to death. But there is one person who is not closer to death. What? Who is that person? Who uses his time to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. That person is not one day close to death. He is becoming one day close to eternal life. That is spiritual life, spiritual world. So that person is saved. In one of the lectures, Prabhupada was telling, if you read my books every day, the sun cannot take out your life. So Prabhupada tells that. Why? Because the more one comes in touch with the scriptures and the knowledge, he is completely knows what is the real goal of life. And then I'll come to one last. There are many shlokas. One shloka where he's telling about the Bhagavad Gita reading. We all know Bhagavad Gita, Kinchita Gita, Ganga Jalam Kanika Pita, Sakritapi, Ena Murari Samarcha, Krete Ena Yamena Nacharcha. You will not get encounter with the Yamadutas, only you do three things. If you do these three things, at the end of life, you will not get encounter with the Yamadutas. What is that? Bhagavad Gita, Kinchita Gita. Just read Bhagavad Gita every day, something. Ganga Jalam Kanika Pita. Just drink Ganga water every day, something. Every day or sometime, whenever you get a chance. Sakruta Piena. Sakrut means once. Once you worship Murari, then you will not, no need to have an encounter with Yamadutas. And then he's telling that those who has taken shelter of the Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara. So let me come to that shloka. This is the last shloka. I'll end up this one. Guru Charanambuja Nirbhara Bhakta Samsarat Achirat Ava Vimukta Sendiya Manasa Nema Devam Drakshasi Nija Hridayastam Devam. The meaning of the shloka is Guru Charana. O devotees of the lotus feet of the Guru, may thou be soon free from samsara. Through disciplined senses and controlled mind, thou shalt come to experience the indwelling Lord of your heart. So he's telling that the way to find out the Lord in the heart is actually taking shelter of Guru. When somebody comes to the Guru and renders the service sincerely, the Guru will open the eyes to see the Lord in the heart. So this is the process Shankaracharya gives to find out the Lord within the heart. So with this, Prabhu, I'll try to conclude here, Prabhuji. So thank you so much. It's already 8:55. Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank
Hare
you very much for wonderful class, Prabhu.
Hare
It
Krishna.
was it's a very good reminder to me, especially. And
You are so amazing, Prabhu. You're so sincere, and I simply wish that I get little qualities of yours.
no, Prabhuji. Actually, the Prabhupada's purport is started with the 3 steps that we have to keep reminding ourselves. Last week, His Grace Prahlad Priya Prabhu also mentioned about this. Like the first step is that like a student who accepts who actually follows the process in solving a mathematical problem, he will get mark even if the final answer is wrong because he followed the steps. So similarly, Prabhupada has reiterated here about the 3 steps. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was very, very wonderful class. Actually, you referred Bhaktivinoda Thakur's prayer and then Adi Shankaracharya's Bhajagovindam, which has given a very deep insight. I heard that many times, but this insight is really, really nice, Prabhu.
there is one shloka where Shankaracharya tells Varam Varam. So we have to hear this again and again. He tells that. So it is a nature like Jiva keeps on forgetting. So one needs to hear this truth again and again and again and again, so that it sits in the heart. So yes, so I think we need to hear again and again. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Devotees may please share your comments or questions or reflections. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, this is Gaurachandra Gopinath here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Long time I could able to hear Jeev Jago, really a wake up call for all of us.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Dandos Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you for the wonderful, very insightful class. So you drew parallels between, Shankaracharya's Rajagovindam, and even we see that in he's written even Jagana Ashtakam.
Yes.
In that also we see the 7th shloka. Navayache Rajam Nachakanakam Vibhavam.
Correct.
Same mood. So it's very even Shikshashtakam we see, the what is that?
Nadhanam.
So the mood is the same everywhere, and
Same. Yes.
thank you for quoting all this and inspiring us. Hare Krishna.
Please pray for me, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Very nice class, Prabhu.
Hare Bol, Prabhu.
You told a very excellent point, association, which is very important. Without that, detachment cannot come. And the rosy, comfortable position of a jiva in the family life, that we can never realize that unless, someone points it out. It looks like, everything is good, but definitely that's very rosy and attractive. But that's not the truth that we have to realize. Of course, the duties towards them are still there. One has to do it, but still we should realize that's a trap. We should realize that. So we should associate more and more. That's very important. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the wonderful class. I just want to add, the Prabhu who said, whether the family life is rosy or not, we are attached. That's the Maya that we are in.
That is so amazing. Correct. So it's good. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Saraswati Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I just have one question, Prabhu. So the first
I don't
3
know how-
steps.
I don't know. I'll
Prabhuji.
be able to answer, but please, yes, bro.
No, Prabhuji, you are a very good. The insight that you are offering is really helpful. The first 3 steps, Prabhupada has mentioned, Prabhuji, in the purport. Krishna is the real enjoyer and then proprietor.
Yes.
So we read this again and again, but when it comes to applying in practice, like whether Krishna is real enjoyer, I don't know how much I'm really doing that, Prabhuji. How to keep remembering this, Prabhu, especially when it comes to the question of sense gratification or other material aspects, Prabhu. So how to remind myself again and again, Prabhuji.
I have the same question. I have no different. Some thoughts I was just thinking is like we have to keep on. That's what, Prabhuji. We have to keep on thinking the same thing. For what we are doing, anything. So, are we doing it the same thing? Are we doing it for my own pleasure, or are we doing it for the pleasure of the Lord? So, how do we get this thing? So, I may keep on thinking it. I have to do for the pleasure of the Lord, but I don't know what is actually. Sometimes my mind, whatever tells, I think that might be giving pleasure to the Lord, but that's wrong. That is why we need to hear more and more. We need to read more and more, so that what exactly will gives it. And there is a best way is to take guidance from the devotees, Prabhuji. That is the best way, because devotees, they are already well situated, so they can give a very good advice on what exactly pleases at that situation. I am telling about few certain situations, but over a period of time, if we keep on doing it, like I was hearing from other devotee that sometimes it is not that we get the guidance every time. Sometimes we'll be able to ask and we'll be able to get, but sometimes we have to take some kind of immediate kind of decisions. So how do I know that that particular thing is also in a good way? It's progressing to my spiritual life. So he's telling that if you keep on following the same instructions again and again, so even there is no guidance, sometimes you will by default you will do that which is pleasing to the Lord and and Vaishnava. So the more we do it again and again and again, it becomes a habit of, we know automatically what might or what will please the Lord. And if there is confusion, then we can ask it. We can take the guidance. That is the thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think Mananam and Smaranam will lead to default behavior.
Correct. The more we hear, the more we chant. The more we chant, the more we remember. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Yeah. So yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I don't know, Prabhu. I think we can hear from others also. That was
we have a
just
lot
my
of senior
thought.
devotees. Yeah, we have a lot of senior
so
devotees here.
that is what I wanted to hear, Prabhu. Yes.
We have Murali Murari Prabhu, Gaurchandra Gopinath Prabhu,
Hari,
Prasanatma Balaram Prabhu. We have so
they
many
can
senior
give a perfect
devotees.
answer, Prabhuji, because they have been doing so wonderfully. They've been pleasing the Guru and Vaishnavas amazingly. Yeah.
We are very nicely hearing you. So,
Hare Krishna. Prabhu,
with your references, so many wonderful references you are gathering. It is flowing in your this thing. It is all your
Prabhu,
very
nothing,
dedicated.
Prabhu, just speaking only. No internalization. Please pray that it may internalize.
Definitely, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you. Yeah.
One last comment, Prabhuji. Sankarascharyas, many times, the followers mistake or misquote him as Mayavadi. But this specific verse that you quoted, it shows really how he actually, accepts or Krishna's Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the only way is to take, the shelter of Harinam and the lotus feet of Lord Hari. That's really amazing, Prabhu.
Correct, Prabhu. Yeah.
Really amazing. Krishna devotees, are there any other questions or comments? I think there are some.
I just want to share one more thing, just to add to the comment made just now. In the last verse of Janashtakam, the translation goes like this: the self-restrained, virtuous soul who recites these 8 verses, glorifying Lord Jagannatha, becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode. So, Adi Shankaracharya is actually showing us a path, the final goal for all of us.
Yeah, yes, correct. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for sharing again from Jagannath Ashtakam. Hare Krishna devotees, are there any other comments or questions? There is one comment from Saraswati Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for the wonderful class. My heartful gratitude to the NBS team and all devotees who take great preparation to enlighten us. As you said, we need to hear again and again and again.
Jai. Wonderful, bro. Thank you, bro. This amazing service.
Thank you. Thank you, devotees. There are no questions. We can end today's session with our Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhobjayevacha patithanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanat.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees, I'll be ending.